Good day. To all the viewers and readers of DNA, a warm welcome to another interview with Heads of Missions. We are here at the Theatre Royal Suite of Raffles Hotel here in Singapore. From Turkish delights to baklavas, from the Haga Sophia to the Grand Bazaar, Turkiye is known for all these sights and tastes, and for straddling both Asia and Europe, enjoying the best of both these worlds. You can feel exactly that when you're sailing on the breathtaking Bosphorus Sea. It is one of my favorite places to visit, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome His Excellency Burcin Gonenli, Ambassador of Turkiye to Singapore. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellency, kindly share with us your most memorable personal and professional experience of your diplomatic tour in Singapore. We hope we have been good hosts.
You have been excellent hosts. I've been here for over 2 years now. And without a doubt, my most memorable experience in Singapore has been the February 6th earthquake experience that we went through in Singapore. Because that earthquake, or two earthquakes, struck Turkiye, as we call now, on February 6th. And it affected almost 11 provinces, an area the size of Bulgaria, and affected almost 14 million people. Unfortunately, over 50,000 Turkish people passed away during this catastrophe. But the only bright side of this catastrophe, disaster, was, from my perspective, the generous support provided by Singaporeans. There was an outpour of support in Singapore, and this is particularly striking because Singapore is 8,500 kilometers away from Turkey. So people could have just watched the news and feel sad about what happened in Turkey, and that could be the end of it. But they didn't. They acted. The day after we issued a call for in-kind donations, there was a queue in front of our embassy, and we were really overwhelmed with the support pouring in. On top of this, the government of Singapore provided a lot of support. They carried out one of their farthest humanitarian response operations in Turkey. They sent the Singapore Civil Defense Force search and rescue team, a 68-strong team, and 4 cannons to Turkey to participate in search and rescue efforts. This team was deployed to Kahramanmaraş province in Turkey, and they rescued a boy from under the rubbles. They also helped detect a man under the rubbles, and he was also rescued with the help of Turkish search and rescue teams. So overall, a very bad thing that we were going through and we felt desperate about turned out to be a very good episode in terms of Turkey-Singapore friendship in February.
Sometimes it takes that to see the grace and kindness in human beings.
The kindness, the generosity of Singaporeans are amazing.
Thank you for saying that. Ambassador Gonenli, when was the Turkish diplomatic mission established in Singapore? And how would you describe the development of the bilateral relations between the two nations?
Our embassy was established in Singapore in 1985. But that's only a part of the story because our history with Singapore dates back to 1865. 1865 is the year where we first established an honorary consulate in Singapore with one of the local families here. And then in 1901, at that time Ottoman Empire, established the first imperial Turkish consulate in Singapore. Again, the date is 1901, on Robinson Road, number 94. Ataullah Ahmet Efendi was the first consul general in Singapore. And Ataullah Ahmet Efendi has a interesting background because he was a teacher in South Africa. Then he returns back to Istanbul. Then he's appointed as consul general to Singapore. Unfortunately, he passes away in an accident in Singapore in 1903. And the interesting thing is his cemetery is now in Singapore, in Telok Blangah Cemetery here. So that's the background to our relations, long-lasting relations with Singapore. In 2021, we just marked the 120th anniversary of the establishment of the first Turkish Consulate General in Singapore. So while our embassy was established in 1985, as I said, we have a very interesting history with Singapore. We have a strategic partnership with Singapore since 2014. We have a free trade agreement with Singapore since 2017. Singapore is 8,500 kilometers away from Turkey. It's not close. It's even quite far. But Turkey wants to establish its presence in Southeast Asia, wants to be more present in Southeast Asia. And we see Singapore as a gateway to Southeast Asia. Singaporeans call themselves the tiny red spot. But as an ambassador here, I've always seen that their impact is far beyond their geographical area. So Singapore is an important spot in this region. So while we are trying to implement our strategic partnership in all its dimensions, and it includes political relations, economic relations, people-to-bond, cultural relations, we also would like to have Singapore's contributions in implementing our Asia Anew strategy. This Asia Anew strategy was announced in 2019 by Turkey, and the purpose of this strategy is to deepen Turkey's bonds and linkages with the Asian continent. Asian continent is huge, but Southeast Asia is a region of priority in that regard, and Singapore is an excellent gateway, an excellent distant partner. So I believe we will not only build on our bilateral relations, but also will collaborate more with Singapore in implementing our Asia Anew policy.
Stan, Singapore is known to be one of the strongest economies in the region and a vital international business hub. Kindly highlight the main accomplishments within the arenas of foreign investment and trade between Singapore and your country.
Singapore and Turkey are regional hubs in their own geographical areas. So there are many complementarities between Turkey and Singapore. Since 2017, we have a free trade agreement with Singapore. This covers almost everything. So trade is free. And we concluded at that time one of the most comprehensive and progressive agreements with Singapore, free trade agreements with Singapore. So it includes additional areas such as e-commerce, such as the permits to participate directly in public tenders. And companies are taking advantage of those provisions. Our bilateral trade with Singapore is around $1.5 billion US dollars, the overall trade volume. But this is a very tiny drop compared to Singapore's and Turkey's overall trade volume. So there's a lot of room to cover. Right now, we are exporting mainly iron and steel products, machinery parts, jewelry, and of course, agricultural products to Singapore. We are also importing medicine, machinery parts, electronic equipments from Singapore. We are encouraging entrepreneurs from both Turkey and Singapore to do more when it comes to trade and investment, to have a more to increase their awareness about the potentials that both countries are offering. In terms of investment, Singapore's PSA is operating Mersinport, which is a very important investment, also a very valuable investment from our perspective as well. Singapore's Olam is running some factories in northern Turkey, and by virtue of this, they become one of the most important nut producers in the world, because Turkey is the world's top nut exporter. Therefore, we have good collaboration with Singapore, and we'd like to see more Singaporean investors in Turkey, because in this day and age, we are all going through those disruptions in supply chains, and Turkey has established itself as a solid production hub and production base. And we know that Singapore would like to diversify its resources, and there's a good opportunity, and there's a complementarity. So with Turkey and Singapore are natural partners, and we will continue to strive to raise awareness about this fact.
When I'm in Turkey, I can't stop with you fell. It sounds straight, but you have the best nuts.
Nuts, pistachios, yes.
In Mandarin, which is my mother tongue, pistachios mean direct translation, happy fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it makes us happy. Indeed, it makes us happy. As the head of mission of Turkey in Singapore, His Excellency has a responsibility to promote Turkey as a travel destination. What places in your country could offer a Singaporean wishing to visit some insight into the heart and soul of your country?
Well, I guess many Singaporeans know the diversity offered by Turkey. Fortunately, we have Turkish Airlines direct flights between Singapore and Istanbul. And hopefully, Turkish Airlines will fly now twice a day, starting from October. So 14 flights per week. And we are extremely pleased with the interest shown by Singaporeans in Turkey. Of course, Istanbul is the first destination to learn more about Turkey. You know the diversity Istanbul offers. So in Turkey, Singaporeans can go through many experiences according to their priorities and their wishes. If they want to have some seaside experience, they can go to the Aegean coast or to the Mediterranean coast. They can even play golf. They can take blue cruise. They can visit, if they want, various religious and historic sites in Turkey. We have 19 UNESCO-listed heritage sites in Turkey, so there's plenty to be seen. They can, if they wish to have a ski holiday, there are many places in Turkey. Some of the longest ski tracks in Europe are in Turkey as well. They can have culinary experiences, take one of those culinary routes. They can go there for health tourism. So there are many things to be seen. And many Singaporeans know western half of Turkey. We are also trying to encourage them to see the eastern half of Turkey as well, including northern Turkey with forests, with its natural beauty. In eastern Turkey, in Gaziantep, they will taste a very interesting, attractive kitchen. In Mardin, they are going to see very interesting structures. In Urfa, again, southeast Turkey, they can visit Göbekli Tepe. which is the cradle of civilizations. Now it's the oldest location where a civilization was established almost 12,000 years ago. It's a unique site in the world. They can take the Eastern Express train to visit from Ankara or Istanbul to Kars, and they will have unique scenes on their way. And also they can continue with skiing or with trekking in Kars. So there are many places to be seen in Turkey. We just encourage them to visit relevant websites, including Go Turkiye website. And then I'm sure they will be amazed with the variety they're going to encounter there. But as I said, the number of Singaporeans traveling to Turkey are increasing all the time, and we are very happy about it. In the meantime, I should also say that we are trying to bring more Turks from our side of the world to see Singapore and this part of the world with its beauties, with its different cuisine, with its smiling people. So it's two ways, never one way.
Well, please let them know that you can have good Turkish food in Singapore as well. By the way, my Instagram profile picture is of me in Cappadocia with the hot air balloons behind me. So that's another place we can visit. We're in Go Turkey.
Many Singaporeans know Cappadocia.
Know Cappadocia very well. Yes, that's right. Now, Your Excellency, speaking about food, Singapore is considered an eating paradise. Which are your favorite local dishes? And if you will go to Turkey, what are some of the dishes that you would recommend outside of the tourist belt of food to Singaporeans when they go there?
Okay, in Singapore, sometimes I start my day with kopi C and with kaya toast. So I love it. Our embassy, fortunately, is just across Lau Pasat Hawker Center, a very historic and unique hawker center. So I'm just going there, trying different kinds of dishes. Usually noodle soup with fish balls, or sometimes nasi lemak. Sometimes I'm in the evening, we are living in Serangoon area, so I'm just going to some hawker centers there. One of my recent favorites is Yum Tam Kian soup, I think.
Yong Tau soup?
No, it's a kind of noodle soup also. It's like named after this Thai soup, Tom Yum Kian.
I guess. Tom Yum Goong.
Tom Yum Kian. Okay. It's like Tom Yum Kian, but I don't know. It's like
Singapore version of it.
Probably, but as I said, Singapore is a melting pot of different regional cuisines as well. So there's a vast variety here. When it comes to cuisine in Turkey, of course, different regions have different food or offer different food in Turkey. We were talking about it before. My favorite, the food I miss a lot is just going to those soup shops at night. Usually it's the busiest period. They can eat kokoreç. This is a very special meat dish. They can try tripe soup. They can go to those regular restaurants to try Mediterranean food, usually made from fresh vegetables and served cold, cooked after being cooked in olive oil. So there's a vast variety to be tried, and I'm sure they're gonna enjoy it.
Yes. If you've never had a Turkish breakfast, it's 25 dishes and more on your table, and you can slowly enjoy like a 2-hour breakfast every day.
And of course, I should add that now we are promoting the first Sunday of June as Turkish Breakfast Day. So we're also doing this in Singapore as well, in collaboration with some Turkish restaurants here. So like you said, Turkish breakfast is very famous. And then, of course, Turkish coffee is another specialty that we are offering. We Turks love to drink tea and coffee, chai. And in December, hopefully, we will organize Turkish Coffee Day in Singapore as well.
Please make sure you invite me.
I will.
All right, Your Excellency, Singapore embraces cultural diversity. Is that something both countries have in common? And how would you define the Turkish cultural identity? Within an ever more intercultural and global world, how is this unique identity expressed in contemporary society?
Since I came to Singapore, one of the things I've been noticing is the importance being attached to harmony, tolerance, and kindness. The identity of being Singaporean is being put to the fore. And in this picture, your ethnic background or your religious background is no longer important. The most important thing is whether you feel attached to Singapore. And I very much respect this and like this, because this is exactly what we do also in Turkiye. Turkey and Singapore are similar in that regard. Both of our countries possess cosmopolitan societies. Turkey is also a cosmopolitan society. In Turkey, being a Turk is a legal, foremost a legal term. So your religious background or your ethnic background is not a defining item of your Turkishness. So if you're legally a citizen, then you're Turkish. This is important, this definition, the legal attachment, because it brings the responsibility to everyone in the society that we support one another, we respect one another, and we show politeness and kindness to one another, regardless of our ethnic and religious background. We have to do this in Turkey because, as you know, Ottoman Empire first expanded throughout history and then shrank throughout history. And many of the people in different geographies, from the Balkans to Central Asia to Middle East to North Africa, emigrated back to Turkey, to Republic of Turkey, which was established almost exactly 100 years ago. In October, we are going to mark the 100th anniversary of the foundation of Republic of Turkey. So in Turkey, we have people from different ethnic backgrounds, from different religious backgrounds. You probably know that in, for example, 1492, the Jews from escaping at that time from Inquisition in Spain went to Ottoman Empire. They were welcomed in Ottoman Empire at that time, and still we have Sephardic Jew community, which is a part of our land. We have also Greeks, which are a part of our land. They've been living in Anatolia, in Turkey for a long time, for perhaps thousands of years. We have Armenian communities. We have Kurds, which are not a minority, but a part of the society. So all of them add to the richness and diversity of Turkey. And they add to the creativeness of Turkey, to richness of Turkey. And we need to preserve this, especially in this day and age. So there are a lot of similarities in that regard between Turkey and Singapore.
My last question, and it's an interesting one. The number of female heads of missions has increased worldwide. Excellency, in your opinion, why has that happened? And why would you encourage young women to pursue diplomacy as a career?
I will respond to this question as the ambassador of a country which is now the 5th largest diplomatic network in the world. We have 260 representations Almost 160 of them are embassies. The rest are consulates, permanent representations. In the past 2 decades, the number of women in our foreign service increased sharply. But we always had a good track record in this. The first woman diplomat joined Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1932. At that time, only US and Brazil had women diplomats in their foreign services. And we were then followed by, for example, countries like Denmark and Norway. Right now, the number of women in the foreign service or the percentage of women in the foreign service around 37%. The number of women ambassadors are around 28%. The world average is around 15%. So we have a very good track record. My guess is in the past, diplomacy was more associated with state power, with aggressiveness, with the ability to push your will on the other side, and it was associated with more masculinity. Now, of course, we are talking more about post-conflict reconstruction, transition from war to peace. These are essential parts of, these have become essential parts of diplomacy. And women, with their intelligence, with their sharp intuitions, and I think they are much better than men in that regard, can make a difference in that regard. This is visible. So we see in our foreign service women ambassadors, women diplomats, and women workers as the soft power of our country, soft power of our diplomacy, and they bring this quality, and they bring their ability to make a difference, to add to peace, to contribute to peace better than men. So that's why we have them, and hopefully we are going to have more of them.
I hope so too. Your Excellency, thank you so much for your interview. As they say in your country, teşekkürler.
Rica ederim. Benim için zevk. Pleasure for me.
Thank you.